Hi, I'm Marcus with the IndieMusicLab.com. So today I want to show you how to get
this sound. Or maybe this sound.
or maybe even this sound. No matter what the reason is, if you're using the Little Alterboy plugin, you're always right. One of the things that makes this plugin so interesting to me is that this plugin literally helped shape the sound of pop music in especially the mid 2010s towards the late 2010s. And you had, bands and EDM artists like the Chainsmokers and Kygo and Cutler and whoever else, everybody and their mom was using Little Alterboy, especially during that time frame. But here's the thing about this plugin. It's far more versatile than you may have thought. So no, by using Little Alterboy, that doesn't mean you have to sound like Kygo or the Chainsmokers. There are other ways you can use it to really get a cool sound. And so today you're gonna learn three of my favorite ways that I love to use Little Alterboy on vocal tracks. And this is specifically if you're into indie pop, into this sound that you hear from, say, the 1975. They use this type of effect a lot. And so if that is interesting to you, keep watching. I'm gonna show you 3 ways to use Little Alterboy and to get the most out of it. So the first technique that I wanna show you here is using Little Alterboy on a vocal double. Now, this is exactly what I did in this mix here. This is my little version of the song Beth/Rest by Bon Iver. And so it sounds like this. And now listen when I solo this Alterboy track. And then if we come over here. All the noise at the door, such a So as you can hear there, this is a vocal double and we are layering it in with that main lead vocal. Now, before I show you the exact settings on the Alterboy plugin that I used here, I want to make something clear here as to 2 approaches you can take when it comes to the vocal double here. So one approach is you can literally copy, you can duplicate the exact version of the lead vocal that you already recorded. Now that is gonna sound a bit more robotic, it can sound less pleasing to the ears, but that is an option, especially when you are transforming the sound to that extent to what you generally do with an Alterboy plugin. However, that is not what I did here. I chose the path of recording an actual new vocal take. So this vocal take here is not the same track as this. I sang the exact same thing, but it is a different recording and I'm just doubling over. So if I turn off the plugins on this Alterboy, and this is the dry sound. Is as steep as a stone. So that's what it is. It is just a normal vocal track, but it is not a duplicated track. That is actually a different take altogether, and then I'm layering it in with the lead vocal. But now let me open up this Little Alterboy plugin. That way you can see the exact settings that I used for this. So if I hit play here on this solo track, is as steep as a stone. That's what we have here. Now, there's like a bit of chorus, a bit of auto-tune, a bit of EQ on this track here, but all of that is just, you can do whatever. The Alterboy plugin is giving us the vast majority of this effect. And so all we're doing here is lowering the formant by about -4. So we're not going all the way, but even just this, because if we go from here, is as steep as a stone. Right, so this is what this plugin does. This is the main thing. But then I landed on. So around -4 there, I'll just leave it there. Now notice how I also cranked the drive, because without it, if we come over here, it gives you that extra bit of crunch and it helps that to blend in so much more nicely with that lead vocal. And so now, of course, it's a weird sound when you hear it in solo, but when you come back and you hear this in context, listen to this. Let me turn this back down a little bit. And so that is one of my favorite ways of using Little Alterboy. It is as a vocal double layer that blends in with the lead vocal. Now, the second Little Alterboy technique that I absolutely love using is using your voice almost as an electric guitar or almost as a synth. It has this type of sound to it with some distortion, some drive, and some auto-tune to give almost the sound of a fretboard, right? So that's really how the tuning helps it get that effect. And then the adjustment of the formant to achieve a particular sound. So what I'm gonna show you here is this is my song Silence, and this is from like 5 years ago. And so this is actually the vocal session. I didn't want to open up the original mix because it's a mess and it was gonna just crash anyway. And I don't even go back to that one anymore. It's just a mess. So, but I did pull in just like the instrumental, and then I do have this vocal track here. So let me show you what it sounds like, and then we'll talk about it. Now that's pretty cool. And what I absolutely love about this is it's so easy, because listen to what this track actually is before I added any plugins. Listen to this.
Oh yeah, la 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 la. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
As you can hear there, I'm just in the moment. I am using my mouth as an instrument. I'm riffing around, making sounds like la 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 and oh yeah, you know, that type of thing. And I'm just vibing with the track. And it's such a beautiful way to get something that you can then manipulate and work with. And so this is, again, this is just the dry sound of the vocal.
Oh yeah, la 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 la.
And then when you put all the plugins on, specifically Little Alterboy, some auto-tune, some reverb, you know, then you end up with this sound. Isn't that cool? It sounds like it's being played on a synth or on an electric guitar. It's so cool. So very quickly, because I do have a few different plugins on here that help achieve this sound, not just Alterboy. So let me go one by one. Auto-tune, very tight. Again, we are trying to emulate the sound of a fretboard. And unlike, say, a violin, which doesn't have a fretboard, a violin is much more like the voice when it comes to tuning. We kind of slide around and find the pitches. A fretboard is actually an auto-tune, believe it or not. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but a fretboard is an auto-tune for guitar, and we're emulating that with an auto-tune on this vocal track here. So very, very tight. Everything's down to 0.1, so it's just let's solo that.
Oh yeah, la 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 la.
Super auto-tuned, right? And then, oh my God, my computer just crashed. All right, let me just open this back up. This is so frustrating. I'm very mad. I'm so angry. God. Okay, we're back. My temper tantrum is completed. Now let's continue on in this chain. So we have the auto-tune, and now this is the Alterboy. So notice how this is very, very similar. It's almost exactly the same settings as we used for that vocal double layer in the first technique. The formant around -4, and then a bunch of drive added in as well. The pitch, I ended up staying at 0. But again, you can, of course, I tend to often go -12 or even +12, depending on the track and what I am working with. But in this case, this is what we have. And then just a bit of OTT to add that over the top OTT compression, depth at about 23%. I didn't touch anything else. I just put the depth knob at about 23. After that, a little bit of EQ to kind of shape the tone a bit more. Some more mids, a few less highs, and then we've just got a bunch of other plugins as well. We got Kickstart to add a bit of a pumping sidechain effect to it. And this is very subtle. It's all the way down to just 30% mix, but you can hear it. A little bit of that. You know, a little bit of kickstart in there. We've got some delay here. And there, I just started with this preset here. I browsed through some presets, landed on this. I may have made some slight adjustments from there. So some delay to add some extra ear candy to that as well. Little radiator to add a bit of distortion. Some extra distortion, you know, because we already did add some in Little Alterboy. And then finally, just to make this overall sound a bit more ambient sounding and not quite as dry and in your face, I added this one knob wetter by Waves. This plugin is cool because it has a way of very subtly moving a track a bit more farther to the back of the mix so that it's not right up in your face and it's a bit more of an ambient, less dry sound. It's basically what it is. So, and then I am sending also this overall track to a plate reverb that I have on a return track over here. And this is just using little plate. And that, you know, effects channel, return track, send, whatever you want to call it. I'm sending this through that reverb as well. So before, and then after. And finally, the third technique I want to show you for using Little Alterboy to just get some really cool effects is using Little Alterboy to create a monster delayed vocal effect. This is such a cool sound. So I'm going to show you what this effect would have sounded like. I didn't use this and I didn't have a convenient mix to show you where I actually used this exact thing in a song. But you hear this, you've heard this, I'm sure, in songs. And it's more of a subtle delay effect. It doesn't overrun the mix, but it's just a cool sound. So let me show you what we have here. This is my remake of the song Apocalypse by Cigarettes After Sex. If you've been watching this channel, you may already have seen some videos where I've been using this song. But here is what it sounded like before I added the Alterboy on a specific part where there is a vocal delay. So I'll play it from here.
Got the music in you, baby, tell me why.
That's the delay that we're paying attention to. Why? Listen to what happens when we first run that delay signal through some Little Alterboy and then delay that.
Got the music in you, baby, tell me why. Got the music in you, baby, tell me why.
Do you hear what I mean by this monster delay effect? And that's why I call it. It just sounds like this massive monster. And I just turned the formant all the way down to -12. I turned up some drive here inside of this plugin. And again, because we are on a return track or on a send, this Alterboy plugin comes in first, which is important in the chain because we don't want to add the Alterboy after it runs through the delay. The Alterboy plugin is going to have a hard time reading that vocal. So we need to first send it through the Alterboy and then through this delay plugin with the mix at 100%. So it's taking that Alterboy signal now and just drenching it in this delay. And that is how you get that monster effect. It's just so cool. So now let me turn it down a little bit so it's not quite so loud because it did turn up the volume a bit.
Got the music in you, baby, tell me why. Got the music in you, baby, tell me why. You've been locked in.
It just adds a little bit of that almost mysterious effect, that quality of being beyond human. It's just this monster of a sound, but it's super filtered out. It's on the delay. It's tucked back in the mix. And this type of effect can just work wonders. Just a little bit of it can make such a difference. So there you go. That's the third technique for using Little Alterboy on your vocals. Now, before you go, If you want to know what some of my favorite plugins are, like Little Alterboy, as well as my other favorite plugins that I love to use, that I use on basically every song, then go check out my free guide. It's the 12 plugins I use on every song. So this just gives you some insights into perhaps some of the plugins that you want to look into if you are into making indie music, like indie pop, indie rock, the type of music I teach here. And yes, Little Alterboy is one of the plugins on that list. So if you want to find out what the other 11 plugins are, be sure to check out the 12 plugins I use on every song. I will leave a link in the description, and of course, it's 100% free. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments which one of these 3 techniques you thought was the most interesting and which one you are going to use on your next song. Let me know, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.